Welcome to this podcast called Omni. Omni is the suffix for encompassing all. And what we're going to be talking about on this podcast is basically everything and getting an understanding of different perspectives from everyone, creating an open outlet for people to talk about, to agree with, to disagree with, and to help better understand one another as well as understanding the world around us. My name is Tiffany.
My name is Tiffany Bartocci. Should we add our last name?
Wow.
Well,
that was an amazing intro. And
no, I have to say that was good, but we're going to keep going because this is how we are. Tiffany is like really personable and kind of calculated, and so am I. I'm just kind of
calculated.
No, I mean, dude, you talked for a solid 20 seconds and did not stop, and I was just sitting here like, wow, I was gonna ad-lib a whole lot of this, and I'm just saying the record straight now because I am not gonna be like that.
I mean, but you wrote a script. Though.
I wrote bullet points.
It's impressive.
Well, I need them apparently because I can't talk for 20 straight solid seconds. That intellectually. Okay, so I am Brandon. Our name is Bartocci, our last name. We're siblings. Tiffany is the sister. I am the brother.
No.
Well, no, we need to establish this. This is a crazy world right now.
That's true.
So,
yeah,
that's what we are.
World.
And we have started this. Why have we started this podcast?
I believe we've started this podcast just to, I don't know, like I said before, just to get different perspectives on everything that's going around and like in the world today, just because there's so much going on in the world and there's so many different opinions and so many different issues of those opinions and opinions for those issues. It's like a back and forth vicious cycle of people fighting and not understanding one another, and this is just an outlet for people to understand one another in different perspectives and try to learn from each other so that we can create a better world for the future. At least that's why I think I'm doing it.
For me personally, we have a few points here, but I think this is a good one to establish. Me personally, the reason why I listen to podcasts and why I go to entertainment media is to escape, of course, because it's rough out there, definitely, and you want to get to somewhere where you have a mutual understanding. For me, I'm a nerdy person. We're going to go over our hobbies, but I listen to things like criminal mysteries, Serial. I listen to The Adventure Zone, which is a Dungeons & Dragons podcast. I go to things I can relate to. So my overall thing is I want us to have a podcast where people can relate, and for people that are not of such extremist views, which, I mean, I guess that's okay if that's what you're about, but me and my sister, we have great perspectives. We're two very different people, and we can always find a middle ground. So we want to be that middle ground to bridge that gap for others who are also struggling to find, like, just some chill in the world, because it can be pretty rough out there. Yeah. And why are we... what are credentials? Why do you think that we can do this, Tiff?
Well, I mean, me personally, no, truly, I mean, that's a hard question to answer because at the end of the day, you don't want to seem too narcissistic or too smug about who you are, because at the end of the day, I really don't believe that that's what matters. I believe that what matters is what you do, and that defines who you are. And so it's not about ego, it's about your actions in the world. But I think the reason why we're credentialed enough to do something like this is because for each of us, we both have very strong opinions, but we don't let that rule us, that we don't let that, like, that id, that ego, that thing control what we want to do in life and how we feel about other people. I mean, we can be told every day that there's something wrong with this person, but we'll still find the good in that person.
Yeah.
I think that's how we both are, honestly.
So we are going to go on topics that can be sensitive. If we don't want to do something, we're not going to do it, but we feel that it needs to be touched upon to kind of make a middle ground and make it seem not so daunting and scary, because one of the biggest things about daunting, scary, just awful things is that the sooner that you minimize it and put in a perspective, not such a fisheye placebo, if you will, when you normalize it, it becomes less terrifying. Yeah. And it's just cooler, you know, it's nice to have that. And so that's Tiffany's credentials. For me, myself, I'm more the techie guy. I've done YouTube. I used to do video game videos. I used to do vlogs. I posted at least 300 videos on YouTube when I was younger. And I haven't made a video or any creative outlet for about 6 years now, but I'm good with Sony Vegas, Adobe Flash, and a few other programs. I'm rusty on them, but I am proficient with stuff like that. And Tiffany, while I'm a techie nerd, Tiffany is very good with her hands. She's the talker. She is professional. I'm just that guy.
I was sitting here like, wait, are we talking about our accomplishments right now?
No. I want people to hear this and be like, these are just two random people talking to us. But I want to show that we're not just two fuck sticks that just got a microphone. This is, do you want this to be family friendly? Should I put a bleep there?
Yeah, maybe.
Alright, well, that's to be discussed.
No, anyways, if we're talking about ourselves, we're talking about the kind of people we are. I'm 26 years old. I've gone through high school and college. Obviously, I graduated high school early, trying to get out of that whole realm of,
Oh, shit in here, God.
I like it like that. The whole realm of cliques and stereotypes, which is where I'm sure most of that, comes from when we're growing up. For most of us, it comes from, that high school, middle school era. And so I graduated high school early to get out of that because I was super developed into it. I was like enveloped into it. And I developed in that where I was thinking that stereotypes and cliques and judging other people was okay. And I knew that at the end of the day when I turned 17, I knew that it wasn't okay. I had that consciousness about me that was like, yeah, no, this isn't right. Making other people feel bad or making yourself feel better by degrading or belittling other people is definitely not a good thing. So and obviously that's an obvious point, but some of us don't realize that until later on in life, especially if you're in the popular group or if you're in a group where they do that, and that's a huge thing in high school where a lot of the stereotypes, opinions, and issues arise from in this world. It starts when you're a young adult. It starts when you're in middle school or high school, when you start feeling the need to have an opinion about something and carrying on with it. So I graduated high school early, went right into college, got my Associates in Arts degree. And then I went and got my CODA accreditation for dental assisting and went back to college because I realized that I wanted to do more with my life. I wanted to help in a better way. And I got my prerequisites done and got accepted into the CBT program over at cardiovascular technology program. And maybe we can bleep out the college I'm going to because that'd be the best. But
the internet's
right.
Shit, but
so, and I'm still in the program. So by the time I get done, hopefully by the time I get done, because it's a lot of information, it's pretty hard work, and I know this, but I'm willing to do it. Hopefully by the time I get done and everything goes all well said and done, I'll be assisting physicians in open heart surgeries and running diagnostic tests for heart disease. So that's me, what I'm doing as my career. Who I am. Go ahead.
I too go to college.
Shut up.
So I'll give the rundown here and there through the stories that we are going to propose, but I mostly want to make a basis of why I think me and Tiffany can make a creative outlet that is going to be meaningful. We're obviously not professionals.
Wait, you're not going to talk about what you're going to school for?
I'll get there.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was like, you just made me seem so narcissistic.
No. This is what it's about. We want to get who we are first, and then talk about the subjects that we feel is important. You gotta connect to your audience, I feel, in a sense.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God, I am the captain of this. Not really. This is a 50% thing, not 51-49.
It's 100, Brayden.
So, I feel that we have good credentials to make a podcast because me and Tiffany both have had creative outlets. Hers being more physical. Tiffany's a painter. Tiffany is made, God, you do a lot of shit that I can't even think of all. She's like the scrapbooker. She's made gifts for all family, and all I do is go on eBay or Etsy, and I'm like, wow, that person's shit looks good, and I buy that because I've always been the online techie person. I feel that me and Tiffany, we're definitely not professionals, but one day we could be, and we could learn how to make...
Speak for yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we established that we both sucked ass a little bit.
Professionals not in podcasting. Understood.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Okay, Miss Profesh. But it comes from this whole idea.
Wow. I'm very professional at work. Thank you very much. Professional in other ways.
So,
go ahead,
we have this whole thing of we want to make a creative outlet, and obviously we will get better over time and hopefully make something more enjoyable for a public, for a fan base.
I mean, we're going to be talking about everything. We're not just going to be talking about politics or about, world issues or about what this guy did or this girl did. We're going to be talking about TV shows, books, music. We're going to be talking about everything because there's so much to this life and so much in this world that there's so much to be talked about that it's kind of crazy that not enough people are talking more about what's happening in the world, and they're just focused so much on their daily routines and on their basic, what they do every day, and it's super. I don't understand it because there's so much to learn, but go ahead.
So that actually brings me to another point of a demand. I've had a lot of times where I'm really bored and I've already exhausted the shit out of everything that I've enjoyed, and I would like something where it just talks about not the same thing. You go to a podcast or a video series, it's the same old thing. Maybe you want something different, and I would like this to be a podcast where it outreaches to a lot of things. It doesn't dip its feet into one pool and just stay there. It dips its feet into multiple pools, puts its eggs in multiple different baskets, if you will. So that's why I feel that this can have a place among podcasts and the podcasting community. But I feel that me and Tiffany, most off, we wanted to make this podcast because we've always, I've always enjoyed podcasts and videos of other people, and I've always wanted to give that back. When you have a shitty day, you get home and you're like, man, I just want to watch some airsoft videos where dudes shoot each other and have a good-ass time. I'm like, man, this is great. This made me feel so much better about getting that D on that test. What? And then and then I can just watch that. I'm like, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted somebody to watch something that I make and feel that goodness, and be like, man, this was nice. So I feel that's why me and Tiffany have credentials. We're both, I'd say, intelligent to a degree. We're not, by the sound of our voice, we're not professionals or anything like that. But
wow.
Okay, Tiffany works in a very medical area.
Oh my god, I'm kidding.
I'll give that to you. I'm not used to that, so semi-profesh because I'm not. She is. So there we go.
There's so many different, and that's the thing that we're going to be doing here. It's so many different perspectives on everything. So a perspective of professional can be, professional in doing what you're doing right now, or professional in how you act, and there's so many different ways to perceive a professional. Oh my god, Brendan, if you spell that on my bed.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I need.
We need water if we're going to talk for an hour.
But tell me more about you. Since I told them about what I do and who I am, I want to know more about you. So they know more about you.
I was the socially awkward kid throughout most of my life. That kid that people saw and they were like, mental disability or eats glue. It was a thing. Hey, I'm not talking myself down. You want factual evidence? I'm not going to exaggerate or propaganda. That's not the word. Anyway, so for myself, I was that socially awkward kid until high school where I found a good group and started outreaching, and I was kind of that kid that wasn't very dedicated to one group. He was a socialite where I just go throughout the hallways and people would be like, I know that kid. I don't know why I know that kid, but I know him. I was that kid. It was nice. And then I graduated high school early, like my sister, like my father. Mm-hmm. I had really no direction at that point. Then I went to college, and now I'm going for radiology technology. I'm working in a clinic setting right now, just started for a few weeks. It's very extremely stressful. I hope I will get through, but we will just see. That's just life, and it's cool. It's fun, but if you don't take risks, then you really don't get up there in life. So that's my whole thing. I'm the geeky, I'm the techie, I'm still the socialite because Tiffany, while I was young, would usually make me hang out with her friends and go to parties and stuff like that.
I was the cool sister that brought you everywhere.
She was the cool sister. And really no bad influence. And if we did do bad influential stuff, she would moderate it,
I would.
Yeah, okay, you guys can assume what that is. I'm not comfortable enough with you guys yet to really talk about that. Wait, can I tell a story?
Because it was really funny. Okay, so there was...
we're 14 minutes in and we're talking about stories that embarrass me.
Okay.
Jesus.
Alright, so there was one time I took him to a Halloween party, and it was at my friend's house, and everybody was wearing Halloween costumes, obviously, and we were all having a really good time, and there was alcohol, and and he was, I think you were 16?
It was my 16th birthday.
Right, it was your 16th birthday.
The werewolf mask.
Right? Okay. So it was his 16th birthday, and all of a sudden I'm hanging out with my boyfriend at the time and all my friends, and he comes up to me and he brought his best friend, because I told him, I'm bring somebody so that you can, so that you don't feel like you have to get to know people. If you want to have fun, you can just have fun, And he comes up to me and he's holding a Jello shot in his hand, and he's like, hey Tiff. I'm like, yeah? And he's like, I try to take it and it's not coming out. I don't know what's happening. I flip it upside down, it's not coming out. What do I do? How do I do this? And I thought it was the cutest thing. I'm like, you take your finger and you swirl it in the Jello shot, and then and it comes out and you're like, oh my god, okay, great. And I swear to you guys, I saw him in the corner with his best friend, like taking at least like 10 Jello shots, and I was my god.
Because we didn't understand. It was my good friend Martin. I won't say last names. We can use first names, but we won't use last names to not incriminate anybody. But my good buddy Martin, we were fucking idiots. You know, we were like, yeah, we want to hang out with the big boys, and then we get there and we're like, oh shit, like what is all this? You know, and you can't. You know, we were already scared, and then you show us, it's like, oh, take these Jello shots, and we're like, oh, shots, and then we try doing them, they don't come out, and we're like, oh god, what do we do? And it wasn't moving, and, you know, it's like, oh, you swirl your fingers, and we're like, oh yeah, we knew that, and then we just took 20, and it was ridiculous. That night,
swear, I remember looking at you guys, and I was like, oh, I'm in so much trouble, Mom and Dad are gonna kill me, oh my god.
I've never puked from alcohol.
No, he has not. Nope.
The three main rules: bread, water, and Tylenol. You know, I always got that. And real quick, just want to say we will talk about past things where we maybe did things that were possibly not
hilarious,
but possibly not kosher. I guess could be the word, or politically correct.
Oh,
yes. Underage drinking. We do not exactly.
Listen, our parents gave us permission. It was at a friend's house with adults.
And
good.
and if I just want to say, like, I feel like anyone can do anything. Not hardcore drugs like heroin or cocaine. Like, there's really no moderateness to like shooting yourself up.
Yeah.
But there's a moderateness to a degree with some things.
It's a heavy subject.
Yeah, right? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm like, do we want to go there? Let's not go there, because that's a hard, because I haven't personally been involved in any of that.
Yeah.
And I just...
Neither have I.
No, I know, but like, those are subjects I'm just like, ugh.
And this is what's going to happen. With the two different personalities between me and Tiff, Tiffany is different as am I, and I don't know where I was gonna go. I didn't want to sum. I was gonna sum you up in one word. I was gonna sum you up in one word. That word being metaphysical, and I was like, the fuck? So I just
I'm the unknown guy.
Yeah, so we're two different variables, and one person might talk about a subject the other person won't like, but we're still gonna do it because like. If perspective, and that's what this all is. Like, if Tiffany starts talking about, I don't know, the Twilight books, or how she...
Oh, yeah, dude, I loved the Twilight series when I was a teenager. Oh, my God.
I will probably hate it, but I will do it, you know, because that's what this is about. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about is, you know, we don't exactly condone illegal, we don't do stuff like that, but we've lived life, you know, and I'd like to think that me and Tiffany have both done pretty good for ourselves. Our family's pretty great. So
okay. See, if you get into subjects like that, it's like, I hate to say this, but everybody causes and commits illegal things. Like, you're going to speed down the road, that's illegal. You're going to, you know what I mean?
Why that one in particular?
Okay, so we're not going to talk about that.
Like, fucking speed racer here, guys.
No, oh my god, like, I don't mean to. I just don't pay attention.
She is a very good driver.
I do. I think I am a good driver.
Think of like the recent movie Baby Driver with Ansel Elgort.
Bring it in.
Okay,
no, I mean, honestly, it's just like when you're trying to get from point A to point B, and you're always driving. Like, I drive an hour to work every day and an hour back, and it's just, you know, it does. And, you know, but anyways, okay, going on to that subject, we all commit illegal things, but as long as it's in moderation of what we're actually doing and we learn from our mistakes, that's what matters the most. Because, you know, not for anything, but I have a couple really close friends who are, you know, they've been to jail, they've been to prison and stuff, but they're incredible people. So whether it's like an illegal act being committed or something like that, I mean, it's all a matter of perspective as to what that illegal act is and how you grew from it, you know? And that's one of the biggest things that I cannot stand is like a political correctness of people having an opinion that are like, oh, well, you committed that crime, or that was super illegal, and how dare you, and who do you think you are? We're all living this life to learn and to experience and to work from that experience and grow from that lesson, you know? And so when it comes down to like judging people and sitting there and having a soapbox and thinking that you have an opinion on something, like a person doing something, or thinking that that you're better than them in a sense, because that's what judgments typically can be. Most of them are. I don't think that that's okay. I try to take myself out of the equation and put myself into a different perspective of what that person, you know, experienced or did. And there's always another perspective you can see. There's always another opinion you can find that's not of your own.
Exactly.
So that's what this is what I'm truly doing this for, to show people that no matter what opinion you have, no matter what happens, there are always going to be other opinions and other perspectives that you can learn from, that you can take into account, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong or right, or that that person is wrong or right, but that matters no matter what, because we all matter to a degree. You know what I mean? And not mattering because of the consciousness. But you know what I'm saying. It's all of that, but in a bag of chips.
So yeah, it's the whole idea of there's not exactly a right or the wrong, to a degree. And I want to say that we understand the political correctness and also the fact that it doesn't need to be so constrained to that. Me and Tiffany grew up in a household where there was extremes in our family, immediate and extended, all the way from the left all the way to the right. And so because we had to be around that so much, I think we kind of came to a point of it doesn't really need to be such a big deal. It wasn't just in the political sense, it was in the religious sense, it was in the sense of how to treat each other, money, everything.
It was everything.
It really was. So we've kind of come to a point where we saw that and we kind of grew close, which we'll talk about why we're so close.
Yeah.
But we came to this consensus of like, yo, let's not treat everything like such a big deal. Let's take it like as a more casual thing. Oh, you think different than me? Like, difference doesn't necessarily need to be opposition. Right.
To be different and to feel differently and to have differences of opinion is okay, as long as you respect each other's views. And I'll totally admit that in the past, I was kind of a brat. Like, I felt like I was always right. I felt like that no matter what I did, I couldn't be, like, technically wrong. But then I started realizing that I'm a human being that has a lot of errors and makes a lot of mistakes. But in those mistakes, I learn from them and I grow from them. And everybody does that. So not one person is always right. Not one person is always wrong. Not one person is ever better. Not one person is ever lesser. It's just a matter of perspective as to who you are and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about the others around you and what kind of vibes you put out there into the universe, what kind of energy you seek, what kind of energy you feel, what kind of energy you give to others, and what other energy you take on. It's all about feeling one another in a matter of emotions and feelings and thoughts that basically all coincide with who you are, and what you experience in life.
Basically, don't be such an ass about everything.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I want us to touch. Like, we're very love and light and acceptance, but there are definitely people where we're like, yo, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Like, we are still humans, and when we see bad juju, we ain't about it. And when we see general things that we don't agree with, we don't agree with them. But we're not going to be like, yo, we don't accept you. The most that me and Tiffany ever do is like, wow, let's step away from that dude.
Right.
That's the most we do. We don't hound them. We don't attack them. Because everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But so are we. We're entitled to be like, I want to be around you, dude.
I'll admit that in my past, I've definitely had some like run-ins where I was like, oh my god, I'm a punch a bitch. Like, and I don't want to be like that. But it's just a natural way to be if you're upset and you're like not okay with something. And when you're younger, you're kind of stupid, and that doesn't ever really stop,
Yeah.
And
but then you came to this consensus.
I'm not going to be like, have her come up to me. You know what I mean? It's more so like, I'm just going to take a step back, watch it unfold, learn from it, and go from there.
Just saying, in the past few years, you have gotten
I can't believe I swore. You got to bleep it out.
No, it's okay. We'll talk about the whole swearing thing later. But
and that's the other thing with political correctness. Like, I don't want to swear because I feel like it's, inappropriate because of political correctness. Don't swear, don't be a truck driver, don't be a sailor, like if you're a lady. And that's like a whole other thing that I want to get into. Like, when it comes to different topics that we're going to talk about is like what women and men can and cannot do and be looked upon to be inappropriate or appropriate. It's just like all that stuff, like it irks me so badly because even now I have the mindset like, oh, don't swear, you're a lady. You know what I mean? And that's just not okay. That's not cool.
For this setting, this is more our social aspects and not as much as our professional. As for making this podcast and getting it out there and making it hopefully successful, that's where we will be professional. But the podcast itself, its material, its source material is supposed to be our social selves, which I swear I have a good time. I like wordplay. Whenever I'm in a clinical setting, I do not say anything that is not PG. I am super on my toes. So are you, and that's how we are.
I try to be, knock on wood.
Exactly. And one last thing going on as to why we're doing this and whatnot, and like the whole general consensus. it's okay for people to have different opinions, but we don't like violent arguments and conflict because 99% of the time it just makes one party more mad at the other party, and that leads to violence. And violence, in the words of Gandhi, it might seem to do good at first, but later on it festers and makes more evil than it already began. I definitely screwed that quote up, but I got the general idea of it.
Very nice.
And that's the reason why we think, like, being able to turn the other cheek and just understand is the bigger thing.
Absolutely.
I feel like you're about to say something.
No, I mean, I was going to go off of what you said. In actuality, yeah, I definitely agree with you that no matter what, wow, just like flew out of my brain. No matter what, though, as long as things don't get rowdy and violent, and as long as you can learn from one another, that's the kicker. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Learning from each other and not getting super upset about somebody, like an opinion that somebody has, and just being cool with it and being like, okay, cool, man. Like, that's how you feel? Cool, chick. That's how you feel? Cool, everybody. Great. You know?
Exactly. So talking about a person and, like, how they're cool in senses and what makes them cool. What are some of your hobbies? What do you feel?
You were reading my mind. I was just about to ask you that because I looked here and I was like, hobbies, Brandon. I was going to ask. I was going to be like, so Brandon, what are your hobbies?
Well, we got, like, with a person's
read my
hobbies is, like, who they are, really. So what does a person bring to the table? Think about what hobbies they're interested in, because what someone is genuinely interested in is what they're going to be badass at. So, Tiffany, what are your hobbies?
I mean, I've got a lot of them, so I'm going to think. You answer the question first. So, Brandon, what are your hobbies?
Oh, man. I am one of those kids that always loved being on the computer. I have played so many games. Anything video game related, I understand. Anything technology, VR, software, I love that stuff. Anything that's just, like, new and crazy, I think it's super dope. Future technology, shows, TV shows, cartoons, movies. I am... Definitely, entertainment gets me, and so I want to be an entertainer for that fact.
Oh.
And...
It's interesting.
What else? Working out. I love health and the body.
He's a really good worker-outer. He works out every day, and I wish I could be as... what's the word? As motivated as him to work out.
Professional worker-outer. That's...
I didn't call you a professional worker-outer. I just said you're a really good worker-outer.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm going to make that a shirt. If this gets big enough, I'm making a shirt saying, yeah, I'm a worker-outer.
I look at you and I think that's great. I'm like, dang, I want to do that.
and there's a lot of reasons for why I want to do that, and that will be for another episode on the whole health and the body and the working out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And that's basically what I am.
Whatever.
The nerd, the health freak, the entertainer, the entertainment junkie. That's my vibe.
Yeah.
And I will go more in depth later on.
I will say that Brandon is, like, literally the funniest person I know next to our dad. Like, both of them, like, I swear you say one thing and it comes back with smart-ass comments constantly. And it's like, it doesn't let up. It's all the time. And so you either sit there and you get,
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right. And you either sit there and if it's, like, coming at you, you either get, like, really defensive and you're like, listen, people, listen. Or you can't help but to crack up because it's so funny. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, even when I get defensive when you guys are being smartasses, I still think it's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
But he is one of the funniest people I know. He'll, like, if I'm having a bad day, he'll just do, like, he'll say one thing and I'm like, Brandon, I can't just have a bad day, dude. Come on.
Stupid shit.
And he'll start cracking up. Yeah.
When life is super serious, you just need some stupidity to balance it out.
Yeah.
And I am so good at providing.
Good job. Proud of you.
Thank you. So, have you thought of your hobbies and what makes you you?
Yeah. Okay. So, I pretty much love everything. I love to do everything. I'm like kind of that person that's like, give me more events to go to, give me more things to try.
This is another big point, but go on.
I love doing everything. I love experiencing new things. I love traveling. I love going to different events like concerts and, you know, anything you think of. I love working with animals. I mean, I've pet penguins. I've swam with seals. I've swam with dolphins. I've done, like, I love nature. I love animals. I love hiking. I love going to different nature places. I mean, I've been to Sedona, Arizona, like 7-8 times, going and hiking the vortices, vorti, whatever you want to call them. And it's just, I love that kind of stuff. And in the meantime, while I'm at home, I love reading. I love singing. I love, you know, chilling out, dancing kind of stuff in my room by myself. I love doing all kinds of stuff like that.
She does do that, just listening to the same song over and over, and you hear the ground shake as she dances it out.
It is the funniest thing in the world, because I'll play the same song that's like my favorite right now over and over again for like literally a month, and then after I get done with it, literally like a week later, I'll hear it in Brandon's room, and like he'll play it over and over again for a month. So our parents are poor parents.
It's not by choice. It's the apply directly to for. I think it's been subliminally injected into my brain.
I will never forget when I was younger. I loved the song "Alligator Sky" by Owl City,
and now it's on my phone.
Yep, and I played it for like, I swear, I think it was like a year straight, like over and over again. And then all of a sudden I started hearing it in Brandon's room, and I started cracking up. I'm like, aww.
It's just a good song.
But anyways, other than all that stuff, I love music, and I love painting and using creativity to like really express myself, like when it comes to painting, drawing, writing, I don't know, other creative things I see on Pinterest and Etsy, and things I come up with on my own. I love all that kind of stuff. So I'm I do make gifts for friends and for family for Christmas and for birthdays and stuff like that. I love being original and making original things. And sometimes I do take things from Pinterest and from Etsy, and I love how it looks, and I make it my own by doing it on my own. And that's not original, but I love bouncing ideas off of other people and other people bouncing their ideas off of me, because that's how you get a great creative scope all in one for the whole world. It's just people bouncing ideas off of one another and going from there and soaring with it, and skyrocketing and taking off with it.
Yeah. So,
excuse me.
That brings me to another big point about me and Tiffany. Tiffany is quite the outgoer, and I'm more of the recluse. Well, I am very like social, and I can talk to people and I can go out and do things. I'd much rather have my locale. I don't want to go too far out. I don't want to do too much specifically physically, because I'm like, I don't know if it's laziness or just wanting to chill out or the fondness of home. That's just who I am. And Tiffany is the adventurer. She wants to go out. She wants to experience new things, and that has also created quite a different experience between the two of us. Like, by the time you were my age, Tiffany is 26, I am 20. By the time Tiffany was 20, I think she had ventured out to like at least 5 or 6 or 7 trips with her friends, like without family. And without family, how many trips have I gone on? 1.
Really?
That was not family related, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was with Michael.
Wow.
And that was it. That was the only West Virginia. So that kind of gives a perspective, and that'll be able to see the recluse and the extrovert. We're both... you have to be an extrovert to a degree to do a podcast.
Yeah.
But to me, is to the extreme of what an extrovert is. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's like, hey, you want to go here with me? I'm like, down, even if it's like 2,000 miles away.
And that brings me to another point. Like, people have their very concrete ideas of what recluse and introvert and extrovert is.
Right.
But, like, here we are. Like, introvert Brandon still being able to talk and have a good time. And it's like, introverts are known as the people that might not work out or might not like even really want to go and do stuff like that. I love working out and everything like that. So it's like perspective.
Yeah, I actually feel like you're a super extrovert, but you're like on the very end of the scale extrovert.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you're like on the border, but you're still super extrovert. But see, that's the thing though, like I'm an extrovert when it comes to like doing stuff and getting things done and wanting more, but I'm totally an introvert when I'm like, I need my space.
Oh yeah.
I need my alone time, nobody call me, nobody text me.
And that's the thing. People will think like, because one of my best friends is, he's a bit of an introvert. I think he said it a few times, Matthew. He's quite an introvert, and I hate people like thinking of a person, labeling them like that person's an introvert, that person is extrovert, and they'll only do this or that. But like, there's so much more to a human being. We have such a profiling system, like the FBI, like with criminal analysis. I watch Criminal Minds a lot. Anyway, there's so much more to a person. I feel like it's a lot more complicated than just put in. A word over someone. And
that's the other thing we're going to talk about, obviously, is like the stereotypes. Oh, I hate the stereotypes. Oh, yeah. I hate them. But that's what we're also going to be talking about. But anywho, I mean, we've pretty much gone over everything that we kind of wanted to do in our intro about who we are, what we're here to accomplish, why we're doing this, etc., etc. So
what are some things that we might talk over that? By the way, scheduling. I will have this in the description of everything, but we need to set a ground time of when we
Yeah.
plan on scheduling and making podcasts.
Yeah.
We are planning on making a podcast 1 hour every week Saturday. Might be subject to change, and then I will edit the footage and put it all together on Sunday and upload it.
On Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll be uploading it on Sunday.
Sunday.
Got
And
it.
I might even get good enough to be doing it at a specific time, like 8 p.m. Eastern time. But, God, do not put that pressure on me. Not yet.
So we're doing it once a week?
Once a week, Saturday,
Sweet.
and we'll be up Sunday. But what are some subjects that you... I almost tripped, guys. Our sitting situation is
We gotta
complicated.
fix this, yeah.
We literally have Tiffany's little office space in her room, and I'm sitting on her bed frame. And I might be a skinny fella, but I almost have fallen off this thing multiple times.
I don't
Anyway,
know how you're sitting like that, because I tried sitting like that and it did not work for my
you have to have
my
the
butt.
buns of steel.
Yeah, whatever, you suck. Okay,
So-
listen, I'm working on it.
What are some things that you want to talk about in the next few weeks?
We're going to be talking about everything, like TV shows, books, politics, things that are going on in the world, colors. I don't know why I said colors. But I actually just read an article about how cool it was, about how everybody has different perspective of what colors look like and how we don't all see the same colors. It's kind of interesting, but we're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to be talking about everything. I mean, subjects in school. We're going to be talking about careers and, I don't know, everything, Brand. Like
Well,
everything.
I already have some subjects that we can go off of. Like, I want to do facts, where we just bring up... seriously, one episode that just says facts, and we go on places like Today I Learned, which is like a Reddit subreddit, and other articles, and just bring up shit where we find it interesting. Or an episode where it's just all music, or an episode dedicated to something that we just love, like a show, like
Yeah.
Rick and Morty, Game of Thrones,
Rick and Morty,
a
Game of
movie,
Thrones.
or even something huge that's happened in today's worldwide that we can subject and that we'll do research on and be like, this is interesting, let's talk about it. But one thing, like, that's news-wise, right? I think we want to go over the idea of what news is to us.
I mean, yeah, it's news, but it's also like everything.
Well, no. I'm
Okay.
going specific, like everything. But I'm saying specifically, like,
Yeah.
let's say, Tiffany, if we touched on the subject of news.
Right.
Our opinion of news and factual information is, I guess you would say, different from the internet's point of view.
Yeah.
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 There's a lot of
Well-
dodgy... Yeah?
Well, no, I was just gonna say. I mean, we'll get into that, and we'll go into. That's gonna be a whole other subject to talk about in a whole other podcast, because you could talk for hours about that. You know.
What I'm trying to say is that we have a lot to talk about. There's so much that we can talk about, and we are going to get better at being able to pass the torch.
Yeah, I swear when you were like, so what we're gonna be talking about, I was like, dogs. Like, in my head, I was like, we're gonna be talking about dogs. Brayden loves dogs.
Huge.
I know.
That'd be huge. Like, we can talk about what dogs we like and why, and how people like pit bulls or Rottweilers, and why they might be good for you or not, because they're physically they're so physically really dangerous, and people don't know that. But a lot of people say that they are, but a lot of people are still in that mindset that they're not. And there's all these things that are going on with pit bulls, and people want to love them, but can we? Are they safe? I want a blue-nosed pit bull, but can we?
So funny, dude.
Our big dogs, what you want, or small dogs,
I'm
medium
sorry.
dogs.
Okay, Brandon's
What's
always...
the best dog for a beginner?
Wait, so you see those memes where a person goes to a party and they like immediately gravitate to the dog? That's Brandon. Brandon is the dog whisperer. He loves dogs. He will like pet any and every dog he will ever see. Like, always.
There
Always.
was such an awkward time in my middle school life. It was 7th grade, and it was traumatizing. These two girls, I think one was named Caitlin, one was named Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
Never had good luck with Brittany. These two girls, they pried on me. They were like, look at this little shit. we could just mess with them. They just messed with me, basically, was the whole idea. And I was like, ooh, girls, I might have a girlfriend or something. Like, no, so rough.
Where are those bitches?
Somewhere. I don't want to know. So
if I had known back then.
No, there's... Tiffany has... we will talk about that. Tiffany has been my knight in shining armor.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks. No, it's just, I'm the man, right?
Well, when you were younger, I was like super protective
Very
over
protective.
you, yeah.
Anyway, these two girls, we would hang out, and they would just kind of treat me very strangely, and it would be like a very weird situation. They would just make me feel very awkward, and whenever I felt just overwhelmed and like I was about to cry because they were so mean to me, I'd just go to their fucking dog and pet the shit out of it, be like, this is my friend now, fuck y'all. And that was my life. It was like a golden retriever. That was like...
How old were you?
I was like 12 or 13, 7th grade.
And where were you going? Why did I not
We
know
would
about
hang out in the neighborhood, you know, Robin.
Oh, it was in our neighborhood.
Our neighborhood, or we'd go over to the mall and stuff like that, and they just...
I remember them.
To be fair, I was a very weird kid.
No, he was very trusting. You were very trusting, and you really like to please people. And and when you get somebody who likes to please people, and then you get asshole people, it doesn't end up being a good recipe.
I guess friendship. I can. This has opened the box of who is Brandon Worms, so I can go into that a little bit more. As a young kid, I always saw adventure shows and movies of heroes and stuff like that. I was like, man, I want to be someone important, and I always saw someone important as that person that was social, who could rally people and be a leader and just have friends, be like the American hero. Yeah. As Tommy Wiseau would say.
Oh my god. We're not even going to get into that right now. Tommy Wiseau. Oh my god, no.
There's so much to talk about later. So, I wanted that, but as a kid, I just did not understand how to socially interact that well with others. And so, throughout my school, career, I was humiliated a lot until I finally got to a point where I realized what people liked and what they didn't like, right. Because I was very overzealous and wanting to make friends, and you make some mistakes along the way. And that's how I've become who I am. I am as awesome as I am today because I have been so fucking messed with, dude. Yeah. But that's cool. I'm cool with it. No regrets. It's just, you can't, whenever there's cracks in your... Oh, how's it go? Whenever there's cracks, they're filled with gold.
Right. Let's go. Exactly. That's a really good... I like that.
It's literally an art practice.
In Japan, right?
I think it's Japan. Yeah. Maybe. Fact check.
It's where if something breaks, they mend it together with gold. I mean, that was a meme going around on Facebook, so I don't know if it's from Japan.
They made a meme out of it?
No, I mean... I think so.
God, that's so sad. I use that.
But no, it was good because memes don't always have to be funny, stupid. They can be good. Yeah. What?
This is another subject. Okay. I go on Reddit a lot. This is one thing that I wanted to talk about. What are we, experts on in this, in the internet? Tiffany, you're really good with Facebook, Pinterest, I don't know, some of that girly shit like Etsy. What? It might be manly shit too. You see, that's the thing. I just don't know, but she knows. I'm really good with things.
I don't know everything.
But
I don't even know. I don't
about Pinterest and Etsy.
I mean, a little.
Give yourself some credit.
Listen, you're making me look like a nerd. Okay.
Well, don't worry, I'll top you. I'm huge into YouTube, Reddit, kind of 4chan. Don't really want to say that. And a whole lot of other sites. I'm one of those kids that's gone on a lot of sites and likes that type of thing. So I will talk about things like Reddit where they have a lot of subreddits and link those. There's a literal subreddit called Wholesome Memes where it's just happy memes.
Oh, yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
That is my bread and butter, motherfucker.
Well, I mean, there's always something that you're going to find that you love because you're bored and you want to find stuff that make you feel good. And
are you discrediting
Wholesome Memes?
Oh,
no. No, I'm just saying when we're in the car, I always look at you and you're on Reddit.
I go on Reddit a lot.
Yeah. And I know... Well, the reason why I read and do everything that I do is because I get bored.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
that's why people listen to podcasts. Why people, they need something where they can casually
where they can just chill out for a second, maybe an hour.
Yeah, and we all have different forms of that. Hopefully, this can outreach to people that are just man, I like listening to these two close siblings talk about random crap in a moderate sense that's not very threatening, and I feel I don't want to use the word safe space because that word has totally been taken in such a bad context. But just a chill hangout, You remember
realm of understanding.
Think of when you were a young kid and all you and your buddies wanted to get away from their annoying parents and the crazy, just hecticness of the world, and you guys had your cool little place under the bridge where you guys would just go and throw rocks at toads and shit like that. This is that bridge.
What?
This is under the bridge. Shut up. This is an amazing analogy.
I'm sorry, I have not ever done that. I've never thrown rocks at toads and frogs. But.
Okay, well, I didn't have a bridge. Me and my buddies went out in the forest, and like my buddy
rocks at Toads.
Quentin would.
Okay, I was gonna say Quentin and
JR.
No.
Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and JR. Yeah.
Yeah, I had some buddies that were less than great souls. You know. There's nothing wrong with taking airsoft guns, shooting bunnies, and taking Molotov cocktails and throwing them at trees in the middle of a forest.
Yes. You didn't do that.
I didn't. Of course not.
Okay, I was gonna say you better not.
Man, even as a young man, I could already make the moral, choice of like, you know how in a video game, the good and the bad, it's like, throw a Molotov cocktail at a tree. Bad. Don't. Good. Like, I already had that in my brain.
Yeah. I don't know. That kind of stuff is just not okay with me. But then, I'm just, I don't know.
What?
Just,
oh, you're not about the throwing Molotov cocktails at trees life?
I mean, I hope that I'm with the majority here.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about a whole, like, collective consciousness thing here, and somebody could be like,
yes.
Man, I fucking love throwing Molotov cocktails at trees.
By the way, that's off that
There
topic.
might be someone like that listening to this.
By the way, going into the whole collective consciousness, that's going to be another podcast we do, because I love that topic.
That's gonna be more your gig.
I know. I'm really excited for it, but I want you to delve into it too. And
I'll research and probably question you and whatnot.
Definitely.
And that's the thing. We're gonna question each other and be like, "Yo, convince me on this." And if they can't, then we'll just be like, "All right, that's cool." And that's how it is. Yeah.
But
it's ridiculous that we even have to be like that. It's like, oh, you have a different opinion than me, dude. But that's cool. It should already be like that.
Yeah, it should be like, all right, no big deal.
Right, yeah.
And that's what we're going to be doing a lot. We're going to be doing research about each other's topics that we really like and we want to talk about, and then questioning it just to learn from it, not to like fight about it or to argue about it, but to better understand each other.
Because at the end of the day...
Full circle.
There you go. Because at the end of the day, you can't just make a podcast and talk about a subject unless you have some idea of what you're talking about. We're going to have all these subjects, but we're going to start off with things that we're more familiar with. We're probably going to start off next week could be about music.
Rick and Morty. Okay, alright, I got a little excited there. I love that show. I love Rick and Morty.
Well, we just watched
Game of Thrones. No? Okay, we can talk about whatever you want.
I was thinking music. I was thinking next week we'll talk music.
30 Seconds to Mars!
Yes, I am going to hit on the subject of more chill music, like Lofi hip-hop. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea what that is.
It's one of those, like, I don't want to be like one of those people who are... It is. It's kind of like that. I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm listening to underground mixtapes are super lit.
Ooh,
look
at me.
Yeah, like, I'm so much better than you because my music is, you don't even know what it is, you fucking peasant. Yeah. I'm not that. I literally found this genre called Lofi hip hop, and it's becoming huge now, and I want to talk about it because it's really chill, and that'll be next week.
We were going to talk about that next week?
Still deciding, but I think that'd be a really good idea for us to talk about music.
And that's the other thing. Like, we'll know what we're going to talk about the week prior so that you guys know what to tune into if you want to tune into it. Yeah. Yeah,
so we are going to say right now, well, as we will say for every episode after that, like, okay, guys, that was a good episode. Now we're going to listen, you guys are going to listen to us talk about music next week. See you then. And that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So we'll be a little bit more organized than we are now. This was just the intro.
Yeah.
High five. Good job.
Me and Tiffany have been wanting to make a creative outlet for a long time. It'd be via, making paint or doing music. I don't know how the verb
stuff goes.
The noun for the paint. So, or that. She's wanted to do that. She's wanted to make music or make videos, and I
just make something with my broski.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's so cool.
If this is a game where we have memories, we have somewhere that we can show people, and at the end of the day, it's something. It's a creative outlet, and that's always positive.
Yes.
I did a lot of videos, so I was kind of turned off from videos, and I feel that people, always make something that you want to make, always, but, what makes you want to make that video? Why do I want to make a podcast? Do I want to make a video? I would probably feel more inclined to make videos if YouTube wasn't such a congested area right now. If YouTube was a huge place for, not profit, but fortune and, like, prosperity, like, where people could, like, it's all just an untapped well then I would definitely be more inclined to make YouTube videos. But there's so many people congested on it. So I feel more turned off to not do that. As for podcasts, though, I feel that they're very untapped and they have so much ability. And of course, they're finally, like, not finally, but over time they've been increasing in popularity. So I'm like, hopefully that we can jump on this and make something and have other people enjoy it. Me and Tiffany are not very materialistic people. We want, at the end of the day, very simple means. Tiffany wants to experience things. Tiffany wants to go see things. She doesn't need a golden yacht. Me personally, I am such a basic person. I'm so glad about that. You know, if someone went up to me and they're like, what do you want? I want a nuclear family. I want to have that 9 to 5. I want to have my hobbies when I get home and not feel stressed, have some kids, see if I can do it. And I'm literally that basic of a person. And I don't think that's such a bad thing. A lot of people seem to think that that can be a bad thing. Me personally, not so much. Because, I don't know. How about you? I feel that we've come in quite a generational age where a lot of people feel that it's necessary to find individuality in any way, shape, or form, which I hate that idea of people have to do crazy shit just to be an individual.
Yeah. I think that's kind of ridiculous. I think that it depends on what you want to do and what makes your heart feel better.
What sounds good to you?
Right. Like I don't go and do stuff because I'm like, that person's gonna like it on Facebook. Like, I don't even have an Instagram account with a picture on it. My Instagram account is literally just me, like, going on there and liking my friends' pictures and being like, I'm so happy that they're having a good time. Like, I literally have not even posted one picture on Instagram. Like, I think I did, like, years ago. I posted 4 pictures, and they were of fish in Dad's tank.
Oh, yeah.
And then I deleted them and was like, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Like, because I didn't see the point, and like, because I already have a Facebook, and I barely post pictures on Facebook, so I don't do things because I think other people are gonna like it. You know, that whole like oxytocin. I think it's, you know, oxytocin effect. I don't do that. I do it because I like it, because I want to do it, because I think that'll make me happier and make me feel more whole and more.
And
excited.
It has value and actually makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, if me and Tiffany want to get a lot of views and possibly become famous in some way, shape, or form, the most likely thing to do is go on whatever is the most trending, which would be things like probably Katy Perry right now, Taylor Swift with their whole feud, Trump and his whole decision with the hurricane. Things that are just very amped up and that millions of people have already covered. We could probably try fitting into that market, but this is a market where we would more personally enjoy, so we'd be more motivated to do it and make it work, and it's possibly untapped, and possibly people will like it. So why not? It just makes sense to go for this route, you know?
Yes.
Of course we wouldn't do something that's super particular. I knew this one dude that had 4,000 videos on YouTube. He's still going strong, and all he does is play a video game, no commentary, post it on there. And it's just 4,000 or 5,000 videos, and he has like no subscribers, no views. Each video gets like 5 to 10 views maybe, and he just does this. It's kind of, you know, it's like to each their own. Like, I'm glad that he enjoys that, but me personally, like, unless I really just got super hyped up about having all of my video game career posted online, I just think that's kind of dumb. You know, like, I mean, like, not dumb.
Yeah.
For me, I wouldn't want that. You know,
yeah.
I would want something more like, oh, this awesome moment in the video game, not literally every moment of me ever playing a game.
That's just him.
That's just him. And that's our whole perspective. I'm sorry that I said dumb.
But that's your perspective, though. That's like how you feel. And if I feel like something's asinine, I'm going to say it's asinine, you know? It's all about perspectives. We're all open to understanding, and if we disagree, we just disagree. That's it. We don't have to get up in arms about it and be like, oh, I dislike that person now.
Like, everything, you know? Like, if everything was documented, then nothing would be special.
Yes.
If everything was great, nothing would be great. Well, and that's how
I agree, definitely. But if somebody wants to do that, who cares? But at the same time, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
exactly.
weird, but all right.
So I think, like, hey, man, I think that's kind of ridiculous, and that's overkill. But you do you, dog. And that's that, you know?
All right. We wrapping it up?
Wrapping it up. All right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we are always going to end within the 50-minute to an hour mark. If we'll hit above an hour maybe if we find a subject that we really like, or below it if we think that we've really covered it.
Yeah.
But, alright, this is us signing off. Tiffany and Brandon, you want to say any last things?
Well, I mean, that was to, pause it, but never mind. No, you're good. I was thinking we could do, like, one of those cute little sign-offs where, like, people will go, like, blah, 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 or, like, do something cute, No? Okay, we don't have to do that.
I mean, you can do that.
Look at me like I'm an idiot.
No, dog. That's totally cool. You can do you. You can be like, what's up, bye, secret handshake through the podcast, and you can do that, and I'm going to do me, in which I'm going to be like, alright, bye.
Oh, so you don't want to do, like, a sign-off?
Oh, like, are
together.
We synchronizing?
I mean,
and be like,
we don't have... I mean, that's why I looked at you and talked to you and was, like, having the conversation with you about it, but okay.
Okay.
Look at me like you were such a jerk, Tiffany. Okay.
Hit me. No, we got a few more minutes. Hit me.
We should do something. Like, pause it and figure it out. Anyway, so in the meantime... We took forever to figure out what our sign-off was going to be, but I think we got it, right?
We got it, definitely.
We got it, and he did not want to synchronize it. He's like, I'm not going to, no.
She wanted to synchronize us both saying it, which we are close, and we could probably do that.
We totally could.
No. So, I want to say a few last things with the few minutes we have left. If you guys enjoy us talking, blabbing about for a whole hour, and possibly want to hear our views on other things later on, this advice podcast, then please share this with a friend. Possibly put it on your Facebook or your Twitter or whatever. We will have more fandom pages to put up there that you could, hashtag post us on a Facebook, Twitter, what have you. Because we want to make this something. We want to feel more motivated to, put these out there. We're going to be motivated anyway, but having more people knowing that they enjoy this and that they want to see this definitely help. So
that was the highest your voice has gone in the entire podcast.
You can hear the spike. You can hear this. You see the spike in the
wow, your spike was definitely. Yeah, yours was way higher.
Yeah, I hit something that man should not hit.
Really messed
so
up.
please support us. I would really appreciate it.
If you like us.
The Bartocci siblings would appreciate it. And we will be coming back to you next week with the podcast on the subject of music.
We did not agree, but I'm super excited about it.
On the subject of... and we will get back to you guys with that.
Awesome. And make sure to listen to that next podcast. And in the meantime, don't forget to live the great life.
Nice.